Hey YouTube, coming at you with another Ultra League team. And this one, again, I wanted to start with the pairing Swampert, Trevenant, right? Lots of Charizard, Swampert will deal with that. Anything weak to like grass, Trevenant will deal with that. Plus Trevenant has good matchups against like a lot of Giratina and Tapu Fini and stuff that's going to really kind of hurt Swampert. So then I needed a third, and I was like, you know what? Even though it's not a safe swap and there's like issues with like getting a fairy lead and stuff like that, I really think Obstagoon, I already mentioned this in other videos, that Obstagoon is underrated in this meta just because like it does well because there's like, again, all the Ghost, Giratina, Trevenant, Jellicent, and then there's like the Poison Darks, which you can just counter cross shop. And then even if you get like a flyer on the lead, you're not bad because you're not a fighter, right? Even though you just do counter cross shop. So for the most part, unless you're seeing like a fairy using like on the lead that is using, or like a hard fighter, but even the hard fighters, I stayed in against some of them if they were weak to fighting too. You basically just kind of stay in here. They're not throwing it, so I'm gonna grab a shield, and Obstagoon's pretty good at grabbing shields just because it's like really bulky. So they're gonna get to this. I'm out of move again. Dragon Claw from this range, even though I'm in the yellow and their shadow, is not going to take me out. This is just Obstagoon's sort of bulk here, right? So they have to back-to-back throw, which is great for me. I will claw. I don't need to shield. I'll probably get me to like the yellowish because it is, again, a shadow. But again, Swampert with shields is pretty strong in this meta, as I mentioned multiple times before. Gonna do a ton of chip damage here. I'm gonna go just one more, knowing that I can shield, because if I get this off, it is now in mud shot range, right? They end up committing the shield, so now I don't want to get farmed down. I have to come in here. I gotta start shielding, even though Icicle Spear's Walrein is very defensive. I am a shadow, and those would add up pretty quickly. They don't throw. I don't know. I'm assuming they were at another Icicle Spear. I don't know why they didn't throw, because now I just take this out. What is in the back? A Cobalion. I have two answers for that in the back. Scrafty, right? Scrafty's tough. You can't come Swampert right away. That's not a good matchup. You can't come Trevenant. That's a losing matchup. But these counters cross shops, even though it's a losing matchup for you because you're double weak and they're single weak, they start to add up, right? So they will be able to take me out before I get to another move. But even though Scrafty has a way super strong matchup, again, taking that to the yellow is fine. I'm coming in here because like I don't want them to, like, the counters would add up on the Swampert pretty quickly. Whereas I know this is just resisted. They have to come in, like, if it's resisted, they have to throw foul play. Otherwise, I'm just going to like load up a bit of it on the Shadow Claws and eventually seed bomb them. They get out into a muck, which is okay for me because I have Swampert as an answer. Hydro does not take it out. And I can't quite farm down, so I'm going to have to throw this, grab a shield, or take this out. And they end up shielding, which is interesting because they really want to get this off. That's fine. And now it just puts you in claw down range. And now you're in seed bomb range for the Scrafty. So this is an easy takeout here. And now it's just what is in the back here. And it is a Jellicent, so that is not good when I'm so far ahead on energy. Seed Bomb is sufficient to go like 50%. And at this point, they need multiple Shadow Balls. And I don't think they're going to outpace because I just had such a huge... They go straight Shadow Ball. And they're not going to outpace because I just had such a huge energy advantage. So again, Swampert and Trevenant are two of those Pokemon that, I mean, unless you're getting like walled by like a Pidgeot on Trevenant, are two of those Pokemon like with energy advantage and shield advantage, you're just like in really good situations. So Dragonite, this, I was like, did I repeat this? But I do remember two Shadow Dragonites in the lead. And I'm like, did someone put out a team with Shadow Dragonite? Because it's the second one I saw. Except this one throws the superpower before I get to the move. Yeah, we see and they throw the superpower here. So no, it is not. It is not the same battle. Oh, they bait me first and then throw the superpower. So they do take switch. So they shield that. Yeah, throw the superpower. I get the boost. So I probably do shield then. Yeah. Maybe I saw 3 Dragonites. So when you boost, boosting is tough. A double boost, I hate the double boost. The double boost is like so like a killer in this game. Now they do hit me with a fairy, so everything is resisted, but like I'm already double boosted, and when you double boost something, resisted or not, that is going to start chunking. So there is back-to-back moves here. They're just going for the full fairy wind farm down, and I was like, I'm going to get to another move, and if they do that, then they're in like what they don't know is mud shot range. So they do end up throwing just a chip. Good news is I have this here, which is good because I can just farm a bunch. A couple brutal swings probably won't take me out. And they're staying in, so I'm just going to chuck this because they're loaded with energy, so they may want to commit the shield. I don't know what's in the back. They're just going to let it go. Hopefully that's in the back. They can beat this. And that is not a good scenario. I know what they're thinking. They're thinking like they can burn a shield here, which I think they don't, if I remember. And then sweep whatever's in the back. But what is in the back is one of the hardest answers to Registeel, resisting all the moves, especially Focus Blast. That is double resisted catch. Their idea was like taking up a shield. I thought they were going to shield one and then Focus Blast me and then just hopefully take what's in the back, but not with that scenario there. Rough here because there is a lot of things that like resist, especially there's so many flyers. Like you've already seen a couple Dragonites. Like it seems like so many people, I mean myself included, have run Charizard. Now there's a bunch of poisons out here too, so counter is kind of in a rough spot in this meta. So again, I'm just gonna stay in here. It's one of these things where it's like as long as you don't see like a super hard lead loss, I'm gonna stay in here just because the back kind of balances each other out so perfectly. Get off the Hydro here because it should be enough to take it out. They're pretty low and they shield, and I'm like, did I shield back? Yeah, I was about to say if you're shielding, you probably have a Scald, and that would do a ton of chip damage. Get the attack fall, which is rough because now I can't farm. Yeah, I think that just cost me. That's so annoying. So the attack fall just does not make this some farm down range, and now I take a Scald unnecessarily. My attack's lowered, so even this Earthquake is not going to do as much. 2 Hydros would have taken it out, but not anymore. So that's just kind of unlucky because if I got the full farm down, this matchup is probably much different because I can just go 2 Hydros to take out the Obstagoon. That would have put it low, or I would have got the last shield, and now it just, I can't do anything here, so this game's over. So quite unlucky with that. Because oh, I'm glad I muted the battles because I could see the battles going nuts here. And in the back is a Charizard, which again, Charizard is not bad on Trevenant because the claws and ball do a ton of right? The claw and ball does a ton of damage. So if I had just energy advantage and shield advantage like I should have had if I farmed down all the way, I probably would have won that matchup, right? Look how low that Charizard is. So unlucky with that. Good lead here. They're going to get out into Mandibuzz. Oh man, I remember this matchup. Okay, so you really don't have a great answer for Mandibuzz. I don't know why they threw Dark Pulse. They end up having Aerial Ace. I mean, Aerial Ace is terrible moving. That's terrible timing on my throw. Cross Chop and counter is just so bad in this matchup. And this is where actually, so people ask me about Obstruct. I think this matchup with Mandibuzz is almost probably better with Obstruct because Cross Chop does nothing. So if you just like lower their defense and boost yours and they can't do anything but Aerial Ace, which is just a pathetic move. What you could do is just kind of like boost your defense times like 2 or 3. Counters will still add up with their lower defense and they really can't do anything. So having like a non-stab counter and a non-stab cross chop just kind of limits you here what you can do. But now I will get back on the Obstagoon with this, which is good. Take a Weather Ball, that's fine. Again, Obstagoon is like sneaky tanky in this meta. So the non-stab cross chop is just so bad. Like these are doing super effective and like it's not great. Jellicent comes in. So I give up Switcher, which I think looking back is probably still the right play. Because I need to because if I just stayed in there, the Surfs would have added up on the Obstagoon, and then I just would have been sort of drawing dead here. So I came in here to do as much chip damage as I could, knowing that I could take at least one move here. And these Shadow Claws and Balls, again, resisted, still add up. Still add up, right? So a terrible matchup, am able to get the last shield. At this point, I should just let this go, commit to the counter. Do I think I can farm down here? Or I'm going to bank the move and then, I was about to say, or I bank the move and come in with Obstagoon, but looks like they gave up switch. I'm just going for the full farm down, but that is not happening because I already had a move. I cannot really take a Surf on my Obstagoon, and they're running Bubble, so I need to throw this. And now it's whether I can counter down the Mandibuzz. I think I do, if I remember. So I don't think this is like really well played. They throw a move. It is an Aerial Ace, and Aerial Ace is the worst freaking move in the game. So that does nothing. Obstagoon, again, 0-15-15. That is probably where that came in handy with that, tanking that Aerial Ace there. This matchup is a losing one for sure, because it only takes 2 Hydras to take you out from a Shadow. I've been on the reverse end of this. But I know I can get to a move to force a shield back or take switch. And when your back 2 Pokemon are so different, I don't hate like fighting for switch in a lot of these situations here. I could let this go. If I let this go, it's almost a mistake, I'm thinking, because they definitely have an answer for Trevenant in the back here. I probably should have fought more, because they probably have like a Pidgeot or something, because if you're a Swampert, you 100% have an answer to Trevenant, and it is Mandibuzz, and of course I'm already so far behind here. And I already showed how bad the matchup was normally with Mandibuzz. Frame dropping all over the place because this game is brutal. I posted something on Twitter where frame drops would have been nice. My game just full out froze. So that's just brutal. If I remember, they had double flyer in the back. I think it's like a Glizzcore or something. Oh, Tentacruel. Just as bad. It's not as bad, but it is not anything that I can deal with here. Hopefully I can bank the move, get out of here. I can. Get to the Shadow Ball. Just hopefully this will do a ton of chip. But at this point, it does not matter. I probably should shield this up because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This game's over. So yeah, the problem is with this team, again, Obstagoon is not bad against flyers. The problem still is your backline's really weak to flyers, right? This team just seems to be super weak to Obstagoon because they left a Pokemon that is weak to fighting to come into something that is weak to dark, right? So that's kind of where Obstagoon just like, it's just so versatile with the counter and Night Slash in this meta, right? Because there's a lot of things, there are things weak to counter a lot. There's a lot of things we need to Night Slash. You're tanky. I already talked about how sort of underrated I think Obstagoon is in this meta. Swampert's a beast. Trevenant is just so frustrating because it's one of those Pokemon where it's just like, oh yeah, you are so dominant, but here's a list of like 20 matchups where you're not dominant. I'm standing here again. I know this is terrible, but they have. I think they assumed I have the poison gunk shot there, so that's why they shielded. But I know they have a Roarst on the lead, and Swampert's going to destroy that. And I know they have Tapu Fini here, and I know Trevenant's going to do fine with that. I do expect this to be a Moonblast, so I may shield. Yeah, knowing that I could take the even shields here, no problem. So yeah, again, when your backline just was balances each other out so nice. But again, this meta is so annoying because it's like, yes, you do well against Giratina and Jellicent and stuff like that, but like there's Pidgeots and Charizards and Gliscors everywhere. There are a ton of Darks in Scrafty, Obstagoon, and Umbreon. There's a ton of Poison Darks and Skuntank and Drapion. So it's just like, oh, Trevenant is really limited in this meta. Like I know in the Great League you got to worry about the Owl, but that's one of the few things you need to worry about. Here there's just so much more, which really causes it some problems. So I'm not sold on Trevenant. I still think it's good. I think like, again, in a lot of situations it is great, but man, there's a lot of counters to it right now. So that is it. It is Ultra League next week. I'm still deciding because I actually did like 3 more teams. One based off PB Poke top rank team, one with Snorlax that I liked, and one that I'm thinking is pretty good for gaining yellow right now. I built up Galarian Stunfisk. I caught a 98%, 15, 15, 14. That's good enough for me. I wanted to try it. I think we're doing pretty well with it, so I'm going to try and run with that for a little bit. But we'll see how it goes, and I will let you guys know. So I don't know. You may get double videos today, maybe not. We'll see. Anyways, appreciate the thumbs up and comments, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.